We are live now. Those who are watching the recordings, they can just fast forward to first 10 minutes. The actual session starts after that. Hi Nandini, hi Rakhi. Good evening. Welcome to the session. So this evening I'm not doing the screen sharing thing for reasons. So we'll be going ahead with this kind of video streaming. Hi SP, good evening. Please confirm if the audio video are good enough. Great. Thanks, Rakhi. How was the day, all of you? Was it tiring due to deep thinking? It might be tiring sometime, but it's worth. And why I'm doing this video session today instead of screen sharing? Because I realized that we need to revisit the questions that have been asked in the morning. So for that purpose, we are doing the video session today. So we'll be discussing the morning questions for some time, then we'll switch back to the reflections. Great. So it's a course for thinkers, you know. So if you are thinking, then you are justifying the joining to this course. So if it is not tiring, that proves the root of thinking is a rational thinking. Because we get tired during thinking if it is irrational. Indeed. Yeah, Nandini, stimulating. A beautiful submission yesterday's assignment. It is really relishing to go through all the submissions. So much of dialectics and different perception on the same thing are coming up, and the experiences shared are really awesome. So we'll enjoy the session today for sure. Hi Vikrant, good evening. So it's 6:03. We'll start our silence at 6:05. Yeah, hi, good evening Tulika. Yeah, you should keep your journal always busy in your contemplation, by your contemplation and all exploration of the truth. That's the dialectics. Hi Vidyut, good evening. Welcome to the session. Yeah, it's 6:05. Let's have the silence to start our session. Good evening once again. Hi, Binu. So, yeah, we'll have the reflection today. But before that, we'll revisit the last topic of the morning. Why an evil is an illusion. Hi, Prasida. Good evening. Welcome to the session. We are just starting. We have done the silence just now. We finished. So what happened, this morning I shared that on 21st of this month, I'll be talking at a conference in IIT Delhi. And I really welcome if any of you or many of you wish to join. So because the organizers have confirmed that if I bring some guest, which is allowed. So we can meet up there, those who are in Delhi and nearby. So on that topic, I would like to share that last year also I spoke in the same conference. It's called Edu Carnival. In that conference, around 500 people actually from across the country, the principals and teachers of different schools, they joined that conference. So it's a teachers and school leaders conference actually. They call it Edu Carnival. So this is the 10th conference in a row they are conducting this. So the 9th conference also I conducted that workshop, and the experience, actually Nandini was there in the workshop, as I remember. Yeah. So the experience was such that it was scheduled. So how it happens, I'll just tell you. The workshops are conducted in parallel. Those who are aware about the conference pattern, they will know that there is a plenary stage, which is a center stage, where all the people gather and listen to the talks, and then they distribute themselves to the parallel workshops. So I was given an opportunity to hold a workshop there. So we reached there on time, before time, but nobody was there in the auditorium for quite some time, like for half an hour, 45 minutes around. Nobody was there, and the workshop was scheduled for 75 minutes. So in that 75 minutes, the title of the workshop was Let's Be Vitality Conscious. Now, few people, including Nandini, were there from our alumni group, and we started the conference, and one or two more people joined that. Then after 30 minutes, 35 minutes, people started flocking in. But by that time, most of the time was over, so some extra time was given by the organizers. But all in all, it was so hodgepodge situation, So I understand it's a big institute and it's a privilege to get that opportunity and all those stuff. But all in all, the objective of me doing that workshop is to bring this awareness to the school leaders and teachers at least, so that it can go to the next level and to reach to the parents and students. So the objective was not fulfilled in a really satisfactory mode. So when the organizers talked this time to have that workshop again, so I requested them, because I cannot claim, I'm not that big to claim something, but I'm again privileged. So what I requested them that if you want me to hold the workshop, then give me some time in the main stage before the workshop, so that I get some participation in the workshop. So this time they are giving me a 15 minutes time in the main stage for a plenary, and then followed by 2 workshops back to back for leaders and teachers in a separate venue. So this is a really great opportunity for me. So while discussing with this organizer, the head of the organizers actually, he is a good friend of mine. So I told that he was just proposing yesterday. Last evening only they finalized the dates and times. So yesterday, last evening after the class was over, he gave me a call and we discussed about few things. So he was proposing that why don't you hold a workshop before the plenary and another after the plenary. So I denied that. I said that what is the fun of doing that, because people will not going to come. Will not be coming to the the workshop for sure, the one which I am holding before the plenary, because nobody knows Kalyan, nobody knows Vitality Education what it is. So what is the fun of joining that workshop of unknown realm? So he was proposing that why don't you put some catchy words in your details in the brochure, because they distribute a brochure to all the participants where the details of the workshop and talks are there. So so he was proposing just write something that look 10 years younger, like you look. He compliments that way. So or play football at the age of 100. So this kind of catchy word will attract the people. So I humbly denied that. Because see, from the beginning of my business, I am very much brand conscious. Not for the to aim the revenue, because my company is a for-profit company, but for the revenue in terms of money, but for the value that I bring on the table, the integrity. If I use those kind of sentences to bring attention of the people, that's a shallow approach, I find. So I denied that. I told that no, it's good that you have given me the opportunity for the plenary, and now as you have decided that two workshops after the plenary, this is absolutely fine. Let's not experiment with having a workshop before the plenary. So it was settled that way. So now what I am trying to explain here is that, see, we have taken some initiative to do and bring some value on the table. Definitely no loose talk or loose propositions we will include in our offerings. So with that responsibility, I repeat that an evil is an illusion. So let's actually discuss that. Yeah, Nandini, I remember the first time I presented that vitality ribbon concept. And Meenu, it's IIT Delhi, 20th of December. So time actually I'm yet to get, but definitely after 9 a.m. and before 5 p.m. for sure. So within that slot, the three things will be there. So if you guys, anybody, confirm your joining and just confirm me by at least 15th, so that I can pass on the names to the organizer for that pass or whatever the gate information they need to be to the IIT Delhi. So it happens in the conference building. Yes. So an evil is an illusion. Now Nandini was a bit uncomfortable with this proposition, as I see her messages in the WhatsApp group and also the video, pathetic video. It's very painful. I thought to play it here once again, but then I thought not to, because everybody of us has seen it. Why to revisit? Now, yes, it pains, but that does not justify the acceptance of the evil within ourselves. Now, this whole initiative of joining this course, understanding nature and life, bringing life in sync with nature, all these are self-directed approach. Now, any thought or any chosen action should benefit us towards our wellness, whatever it may be. That's the primary condition. Now tell me about a scenario. In the same video, there were, if you go deeply, you'll see there were plants visible, trees visible when those crimes are happening, those pathetic actions are happening of beating somebody. Are they reacting? And is this inaction by the trees support that action which causes pain? Absolutely not. So the neutral observation doesn't justify the negative action. That's number one. So it is not that since we are saying that the evil is an illusion, we don't identify the evil, and also we never justify the evil. Just that we have a knack to go deeper and to understand the problem. Now the next point will arise that if the person, the victim, so in any kind of negative action, there are two parties involved. One is the party who is doing the act, and the second is the party who is being victim. Now, main concern at this point is saving the victim, which is a reflex action. And if you maintain your equanimity, if you maintain your vitality conserved, then that reflex action goes double, triple and multiplied. So we need not to worry about the reflex to save the individual at that very moment of time if we maintain our equanimity. It's not that we need to be very aggressive to save the person. So that's number one. So we don't restrict ourselves to save somebody. Now number two is the person who is doing that act. How should we perceive that person? By transporting ourselves into that person's state. That is the best way to understand the real psychic pattern, background, and the cause behind that action. It is not a justification. It is just understanding of the state. When you do this contemplating act, you will not have any pole in your mind of good or bad. You will perceive that as a problem, and there could be a solution, and the solution we have discussed in the morning is the improvement in the knowledge, is the improvement in the awareness. So this way of perception saves us from consumption of lot of vitality. This is the first point I wanted to discuss with. Now another point, which is again an important point, that see, look at ourselves. We are in a transiting mode from so-called conventional life to nature synced life. For example, 5 years back, I used to have chicken in every meal, almost. I used to have Coca-Cola cans, that Diet Coke can, because I was identified as diabetes. So Diet Coke used to be considered that good for diabetes. So there was a norm, a non-verbal norm in my house, that if a curtain of Diet Coke is open, another sealed pack of the Diet Coke should be ready next to it. That much addicted I was for Diet Coke. Every day 5-6 cans of Diet Coke I used to consume. And now, today, if somebody compelling me to drink Coke, I perhaps will vomit. So now that self of me, that past me, was me only, right? And I don't have any guilt of that action when I perceive from this state of awareness, because awareness is a continuum. We modify our awareness every moment. So the past awareness made me to act that way, which is absolutely fine, acceptable, not justifiable. Now, with the present state of awareness, I cease to do that. I find that act is a negative act. And I have stopped that. And in future, I'll be further modifying myself. That's a journey. Now, that past me, if I perceive right now as an evil, then that will form a guilt in me. So this polarization, evil person or a good person, is a limited, shallow explanation of the act. Right. So with that note, actually, I'll conclude this discussion. We can carry on next day, or on the WhatsApp also you can share your thoughts. Okay, Nandini said that I don't know if it is morphed or made to hurt people. Yeah, Nandini, that possibility is also there. That kind of videos. So these kind of videos are really made up sometime. So we should not go for the blind acceptance emotionally, these videos, you know. So okay, SP asked that Kalyan, please tell us how you came to into this lifestyle, how it got initiated. Okay, so SP, I keep telling these incidences repeatedly, so I'm not sure if I have already communicated in previous batch or something. So it happened that way. I was diagnosed with a lot of ailments, diabetes, ankylosing spondylitis was the severe thing. So I was diagnosed in Air Force, when I was in Air Force. So in military services, what happens, when you get diagnosed with some kind of diseases which are termed as non-curable disease, you are categorized lowered medically, and your promotion and career growth get stopped. So happened to me. Now I tried for premature release repeatedly from forces, but fourth application of mine got approved. So previous three applications got rejected for no valid dialectic reason. So anyway, that way I could get the release ultimately from Air Force. And then after Air Force, I started researching about getting rid of the burden of medicine. So I used to consume around 10 to 12 tablets a day. So then I came across with a book called Heart Mafia by Dr. Bishwarup Roy Choudhury. He's a good friend of mine. So I started working in a corporate by then, in viziq.com. It's a website online education platform, and that gave me a lot of insights about this online technology and all those stuff. So that book was an eye opener. It was giving clear cut claims that medicine free life is possible through diets. So I started with diet. So China Study Diet Plan is the diet that I opted, which is a raw diet, and religiously I have followed that diet plan for some time, and within 43 days I could get rid of all my medicines. So that was really surprising to me, and I went ahead methodically by tracking my blood sugar level each day 4 times that way, and it took 43 days to reduce my medicine gradually, and ultimately getting rid of the burden of medicine. So when that happened, that somehow that actually moved me from inside. What is it happening? Then I kept on researching, and coincidentally I came across with a person called Kevin Hinton. Kevin Hinton is an Australian nature cure practitioner. He is actually no more with us mm, physically. So he actually opened this world of nature cure in front of me. And I was a fan of psychology, and I was a researcher of psychology. I did research on meditation also before during my Air Force days. I did a research on formal research on meditation titled as Impact of Meditation on Stress Coping Skills of Air Force Personnel. So I had a knack towards rational analysis. I was a fan of Albert Ellis, REBT, and all those stuff. So when Kevin introduced dialectical materialism in nature cure and explained the facts, so I was not a formal student with Kevin, but we were good friends, and repeatedly we used to connect with each other the way we are continuing the same tradition, me and Victoria Moran, a formal student of Kevin, a good friend of mine, colleague in this fraternity. So we used to connect regularly and fight a lot, debate a lot. So that was really awesome. And after three and a half years of practice of Nature Sync Life, I got rid of my ankylosing spondylitis problem. I had a severe healing crisis of 45 days long, and out of which 15 days were huge problem. Like all my joints were swollen and fever was continued, and it was tremendously paining all the body, all the joints. So I was not able to move myself at all, and I was on the bed for those 15 days. Even going to the washroom was a huge challenge for me. So, and after that, I found that a lot of toxins got removed through perspiration, and my joint problems got tremendously reduced. Now the problem is almost nil, but I'm sure if medically I am diagnosed, they will find the same problem through MRI or CT scan. So because that syllabus contains that kind of deformities as non-curable problem and all those stuff. So I don't blame them, but it's the best part that I am relieved from my pains. So that's how it started, I ate some time actually of this session, sharing my story. Anyway, since SP asked, I thought to share. Right, guys? So can we then start with the reflection? I'm not sure if my audio videos are streaming well. Let me check once. Yeah, it's streaming good, it seems. Yeah, SP. Thanks for asking. It's an opportunity to share. So, yeah. Right, guys. So, the reflection. Is the video clear on this black background? Because I found that LED black background will support better in the video streaming. Yeah, so no glaring much. Right, so we had these two statements. Uh, the first one is share your reflection on resensitization of senses while making changes in lifestyle to sync with nature. Second one was share an experience of yours where you have changed your irrational belief into a rational one. So these two questions were, or statements were presented yesterday, and you guys phenomenally responded to this. I'm really privileged to have these So the first submission is from Minu. First, we should check our sensitivity. If there are many artificial inputs, action and thoughts in our lives, and we are not falling sick often, we lack sensitivity. We must recalibrate our senses to sync with nature by correcting our inputs, actions and thoughts, and vitality will be raised. So vitality will be raised. It could be actually modified as conserved, because the words carry a lot of meaning. It has got impact of misunderstanding if we use the word raised instead of conserved. Our senses always communicate good or bad to us. Senses like hunger, thirst, bowel movement, sleep, sense of sex, etc., if these are not up to the expected mark, it means that our inner voice is working. It means are not up to the mark. It means our inner voice is working and communicating well. Is not working. Is not working properly and communicating well. This indicates our wellness. Okay, Vikrant. Vikrant says that he's suffering some network issues, so he might watch the recordings. Meanwhile, there in the live now. So this indicates our wellness. Natural living helps us become more sensitive and raises our vitality. That raises vitality means conserve more vitality to the level where body can get rid of any level of toxemia by fever, flu, pain, etc. We must rest and be patient and celebrate our capability to deal with toxemia naturally. Yeah, conserved word Minu confirmed, she understood. So yeah, I guess that you understood the concept with this response, but it could have been far better, Now, the next question is, the next statement was that experience sharing. So she says that the past me was conditioned to consumption of milk and milk product. So a lot of experiences on the food aspect, as I also shared the experience of Diet Coke and chicken and all the stuff. So in extreme, and so was the milk also for me. This reminds me that I used to be very addicted to the last cup of the milk in the night, which I used to take before bed. So that was horrible. Now I realize. So yeah, so in extreme quantities, milk and milk products in extreme quantities in the form of ghee, cottage cheese, uh, drinking milk thrice a day, etc., with the belief that it is the source of calcium which is essential for the bones. My skin would remain unbelievably dry even after consuming homemade butter daily, which I irrationally believed to be lubri, uh, lubricants. I can't read this word, which will help for my body dryness and cracked lips, but to relief. But to no relief. Slowly it dawned on me that I was thinking irrationally and took a dialectic approach on the matter. By nature's grace, the use of medicine, chemicals never convinced me. The quest led me to disrupt my irrational belief, and I researched and found the faulty beliefs, analysis, and implementation of the new awareness slowly and steadily changed my belief. I turned to veganism, and the quest continues. Yeah, Minu, I understand. So, her network is also giving some trouble, it seems. So that's fine, I understand, since you have joined. So that proves that you are serious about it. But definitely you can watch the recordings. The recordings will be flawless since connection here is very robust. So yeah, so on this experience sharing, I really appreciate the kind of tenacity Minu has. Minu contacted me, I think 3 months or 4 months back. I don't know how she got my number and reference and all. So she did not do any level 1 course formally with me last year, but she took the access of the contents and went through the contents herself, and she used to follow up for the level 2 since then. And it was amazing interest she has got in this sinking life, and she found some clue that this course might help her go deeper into the aspect, and she was sticking to it. I really appreciate, and I'm privileged to have your interest in our services. Yeah, next submission was from Raki. Very methodical response. I'm amazed. We need to sensitize, the number one question on the resensitization. We need to sensitize ourselves. 3 parameters. They need to be analyzed. 1. We need to know health history of our forefather for our health management. We need to be aware of our environment, if it is polluted artificially, water, air, etc. 3. We need to take a hard look at our lifestyle if it is infused with a lot of artificial intrusion. We need to check if we are living with proper RAW and food. Need to check our exercise pattern. It should be simple stretching, no gym, no heavy exercise. We should have proper rest and sleep and good spinal care. We should check if we have negative emotions. Now, if we are not following the above mentioned points, we need to change gradually our inputs and sync with nature. Aptly responded. Thank you, Raki. Now the second response from Raki on experience. I'd like to share my experience with my children. Yeah, screen sharing. Do you need the screen sharing? I can bring the. Let's not change the system. I need to open my laptop and relaunch a session. So let me bring the camera near to the iPad and let's do the iPad streaming, right? Because I see some some thumbs up also on the proposal of SP. Yeah, so let's do something, do some tweaking. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be back with the system. Yeah, so this is not visible, I can understand, because on my mobile I can see this hardly. So if you can just horizontally place, anyway, I'm bringing the camera near. Yeah. I think we can disconnect from the LED. Yeah, now it's freely movable. I think it's quite good. Right. So yeah, so let me reread the second response from Rakhi. I'd like to share my experience with my children. I have been teaching less privileged kids for 24 years. Yet my submissions, I am learning to change my irrational beliefs. It's work in progress. So every time my children do not behave or perform well, mostly because of their family pressure, for lack of commitment or home environment background, I feel sad and helpless. I need to illuminate a little. Yeah. So I feel sad and helpless because I irrationally thought I would be able to change someone's life, future. It is irrational belief. I really appreciate Rakhi for confirming this. Because there are a number of factors governing a human being by motivating and teaching and wishing best for them. I will not always be able to help each and every kid. The dropouts who had potential used to pain me. Now I am more objective. Somehow it's coming hazy on camera screen. Is it okay at your end, guys? Yeah, after Rakhi, it's SP's submission. This autofocus thing of the camera is actually spoiling the experience anyway. So tomorrow we'll be doing the screen sharing only. Just let's bear with this fact. But I'm listening. I'm actually reading all the words submitted. Now, first submission from SP is listening to the voice of the organism with the help of our senses. That is sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch via sense organs. That is eye, ear, nose, tongue, and skin is nature cure. Our senses have been programmed to communicate this voice of the organisms to us through our sense organs. Based on our past experience, we term these communications good or bad. Also, beyond these peripheral senses, the natural responses could be hunger, thirst, bowel movement, sleep, sense of sex, attentiveness, poise, etc. If we are sensibly sensitive and do not suppress the sensitiveness, we achieve the optimum health. So I actually made this red font of this through our sense organs, because initially it was found that the sense organ is only, the external sense organs are only the voice of the organism, which you have actually corrected later on, that these are just peripheral senses. So we are equipped with far more valid sense organs. Okay, light should be off. No, it's not bettering the haziness, Vikrant proposed that light should be off, but it's not improving somehow. So are you guys telling me to revert to the same place and continue, or this is okay to continue? This technicality eats up time. Okay guys, let me do something. I'll bring my laptop and I'll relaunch a session. Please join that. No, I'm relaunching because this reversal will again take time. So in any way, let's wait for 5 minutes. I'll relaunch through the laptop. Just stay tuned to the group and rejoin. No, I understand, Meenu, but reading and seeing the text will have better impact. So I'll just revert to the laptop. I'm just ending this session. In 5 minutes, I'm coming back.